There's not. And the world is scary right now. And,
Yep.
especially for a lot of our kids are LGBTQ, the things that they're going with, we just always want them to know that whatever they're going through, this is going to be their home. There's always going to be somebody here to support them. And we have a lot of kids that, like, there's a bunch of kids out in the lobby right now that don't even have lessons today. They're just sitting there.
Just hanging out.
I get snacks. I put snacks out there and feed them and stuff.
Awesome.
But they just know that they can come here and do homework or just hang out, and somebody's going to be here to support them.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Interest of the greater good for me to smoke a joint and calm down.
I am the greatest. He'll fall an eight to prove that I'm great. And if he keeps talking Jack, I'm going to cut it to 5.
Now, so welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Ville Chillin podcast. Today we have Toni. I'm assuming, yes, with Encore School of Music and Arts. So thank you for joining us today. Really excited to learn more about the school and everything.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. So first, when did the school open? How long have you been?
So Encore was officially birthed in January of 2024. And since then, we were actually operating in a basement of a music store. And we have since then grown so much that this past November, we actually moved into a new location. And so now we have our own building now. So we're a standalone, rocking in our own spot now in Clarksville.
That's awesome. It's awesome that you were able to achieve that much growth in under a year, because you said it was November. So that's fantastic. What inspired you to start a music school?
So I've always been a performer, as well as my partner, David. I have a partner, and we've always been performers. I've always been heavily involved in musical theater. I went to opera school, and all my life I was kind of heavily discouraged from adults like music directors, theater directors, because of my weight. And as a child and a teenager growing up, I had a lot of that discouragement, which kind of made me almost not want to do music at all. And over the years, I started teaching as an adult and just kind of fell in love with it. I never thought that I wanted to work with kids or teenagers, but all of a sudden teaching them, I felt a connection there because a lot of these kids are going through the same thing that I went through. And as I continued teaching with different schools, it just kind of became a passion for me. And I said, you know what, I need to open a place where all these kids can come and not worry about their weight, the amount of money that they have, their color of their skin. This is just a safe place for them to express themselves through art and music.
That's awesome. That's the best reason possible, probably, to even go that route. So how long, you said you've been doing performing arts or music and stuff for a long time now, since you were a teenager?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
when did you
started
first...
as a kid. I started doing community theater and just plays at school and musicals. I was always in choir. I started taking classical voice lessons when I was, I think, 7, and then started working with Kentucky Opera. Ended up going to school to get a music business degree. And then I actually went and studied opera in Italy for a while. And that kind of sparked some interest in me as well, just all different aspects of performing.
That's amazing. That sounds tough. And I mean, I know Italy takes their opera pretty seriously. So
it's tough. Yeah.
So when it comes to teaching, how do you balance like truly teaching fundamentals when it comes to music? I guess, teaching notes and chords and all of that, while also allowing the kids or the students to, I guess, express themselves creatively.
Yeah, I think the main goal for our teachers here, which we're a small staff, which I wanted to do on purpose, just because we're dealing with teenagers and kids and people, and a lot of these kids are having emotional and mental health issues these days. And after COVID, they're going through a lot. And so the biggest thing that I think sets us apart at Encore is we are very mental health heavy here. We have a lot of kids that have Tourette's, depression, anxiety, autism, and somehow the music just kind of calms that down and gives them a way to express themselves that's healthy. And I feel like they feel listened to here. And we definitely try to instill the fundamentals, but we do it. Each lesson is handcrafted and catered to the individual student and their goals. So we want you to learn, but we're going to trick you and use what you like to get you to learn those things instead of just throwing a piece of classical music at them, because my partner and I had that when we were growing up, and it just wasn't as fun as it could have been. And so I think that's been very important, is to try to get them to use music as a form of self-expression, but still have fun with it.
Yep, that makes total sense. I would be lying point blank if I said that I was ever interested in like learning classical music or even really listening to classical music, but you pull out the classic rock from 60s and 70s and all of a sudden it's a lot more interesting.
Oh yeah.
You can only play Furley so many times.
Right, exactly.
Can you tell us a little bit how it went from you teaching music for other schools and then how it went from you creating a school?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started teaching after college. I was living in Indianapolis for a while and started working with the School of Rock franchise up there. I worked at a couple of different branches there just for some part-time money. I was trying to be a musician and perform, but that doesn't always pay the bills. And so I needed a part-time gig. So I started teaching, didn't expect to love it just because it's kids, and I never really thought that I would work with them. But we just kind of bonded. All of my students, I felt like I really got them, and it just kind of instilled this passion in me. And since then, I moved back to Louisville to help open the School of Rock branch here in Louisville. And just working there, and I kind of started taking on more students, more hours. I started coaching bands, and I just realized all these schools that I was working at, because I'd worked at a couple of others after School of Rock, I just realized that the environment wasn't focusing on the important things, which were our mental and emotional health. And though I'm not a licensed therapist and we don't give therapy or anything, but I just felt like we needed a place that was safe for them emotionally, so that kids can walk in here. And I just wanted to do it my way. I wanted to not have the corporate stuff with it. I wanted this to be a free space where everyone's inclusive, everyone gets equality here. And that was kind of my main thing, is just, okay, if this isn't the environment that's happening or the culture that's happening here, I'm going to do it myself. And it's been really good so far.
How many students do you have currently?
Right now, we just signed up our 78th student.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It is. It's really cool. I'm excited about it.
That is phenomenal. And we've seen, obviously we were at Ville last year, and then we've seen on your Facebook, the kids get to do live performances, which is really awesome. That's a huge part of the performance aspect of performing arts. So what's the process like for students as they prepare for a show at a local venue? And do they choose the music? Do you just kind of guide them through that? How does that process work?
Sure. So we have kind of two different pools of lessons here. We have our private lessons, which is one-on-one with the instructor, and we can do group lessons. But the other chunk of our school is our rock school program, and that's what we were at for Via Calori. So for rock school, essentially I play music matchmaker. And let's say you come in and you're a guitarist and you want to be in a Green Day cover band, and that's your passion. That's what you want. I go out and I hunt for people that are similar personalities, love the same type of music, the instruments you need, the skill level you need, and we put bands together. And I think we have about 10 bands right now of all ages. We have an adult program as well with 2 adult bands. And for the kids, yeah, especially the teenagers, that's basically a big goal for our rock school, is to get them the most prestigious gigs, the big venues. We want to get them out on the real stages to give them that full experience. And so, yeah, we've been really blessed and have had a lot of people support us and offer to give us really great opportunities. And the kids get super excited. They all, for the most part, get to choose what kind of genre or what their band package looks like. And we give them photo shoots. We help them figure out what to wear, which we let them pick within reason. We say, okay, you want to do Metallica? This song would be good for your bassist, your singer. And so we try to get them to understand how to choose music and venues for later on when they decide to leave us and, spread their wings and fly. But it's a really cool process to see, because you'll have some kids that'll come in for the beginning of the band and they're on their phone and they don't talk to anybody. And then a month later, you see them on stage just shredding. And the confidence, I think, is just really cool to see that more than anything.
Yeah, that confidence building is such an important part, especially in today's society with social media. The internet isn't a nice place. So it's really easy for kids. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I avoid letting her really be on the internet, period, except maybe watch Netflix or something, because it's so bad. And I mean, I know there's kids her age who already have phones and stuff, and I'm like, no. She needs to be able to develop that confidence now, and so I try to lean into anything she's interested in. So, she was doing dance at her school, and it was really amazing to see from her winter recital to her spring recital how much more confident she was on that stage. And she's so much more confident just even talking about dance and stuff, even at 6 years old, because she got on stage.
Yeah.
And there were definitely kids up there who didn't do so well, but kudos to you, your program and everything for helping facilitate that for these kids, because there's not a lot of that in the world right now.
There's not. And the world is scary right now. And, especially for a lot of our kids are LGBTQ, the things that they're going with, we just always want them to know that whatever they're going through, this is going to be their home. There's always going to be somebody here to support them. And we have a lot of kids that, there's a bunch of kids out in the lobby right now that don't even have lessons today. They're just sitting there.
Just hanging out.
I get snacks. I put snacks out there and feed them and stuff.
Awesome.
But they just know that they can come here and do homework or just hang out, and somebody's going to be here to support them.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And where are you located? Where's your building located?
We are in Clarksville, Indiana. We're right off Lewis and Clark, right behind Golden Corral.
Gotcha. That's pretty much right across the bridge, right? I'm not very familiar with Indiana, but
yeah, right across the bridge, not too far.
That's awesome. So I guess other than the confidence building aspect, what's another a really rewarding part of what you're doing? What do you really love to see, or if something happens on stage and it's just a big heartwarming type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, the transformation is definitely cool. I made a video recently on our Facebook page of some of the kids before and after Encore, and it's kind of crazy. So the confidence and transformation is awesome, but also seeing the parents at the shows, because the parents aren't normally at rehearsals, and so they don't really know what's going on. And then they get to the show and they see their child on stage just being a rock star, and the look on their faces, that's really cool. And also, a lot of the kids, just kind of seeing them grow. There's been a couple of kids who have just graduated and they're thinking of doing music now, and just to kind of watch them. And I don't have kids of my own, so I feel like all 78 of these people are my kids, and just to kind of be proud of that and to see everything they accomplish. And A lot of the kids are wanting to teach now and help coach. And I think that's just the biggest thing for me, is to know that I made some kind of a difference for them.
That's awesome. I love how you have mentioned the mental health aspect of it a lot too, because I mean, obviously, May was Mental Health Awareness Month, I think, and you know, a lot of those types of things are becoming a lot more prevalent, or at least actually being diagnosed now. Whereas for a long time, things just weren't really diagnosed. We didn't understand what anxiety was, you know, and it's very prevalent in kids too. You know, a lot of people used to kind of think like, oh, kids are just going to be kids. They're going to be fine. That's just how they are. And know that a lot of the things we see are those beginning stages of anxiety or depression and things like that. So being able to have an outlet, just that's got to be very rewarding for the kids. And I mean, as you said, it's rewarding for you to see that and be able to help and make a difference. That's very powerful.
Yeah.
What kind of? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing. Yeah, it definitely is. And I've struggled with mental health most of my life. I have chronic depression, and music was literally the only thing that kind of saved me. And songwriting, we use songwriting a lot here, especially if, you know, some of our kids are struggling with self-harm, depression. We, you know, try to really get them to express themselves through writing and making music. And so that's been very helpful too. But yeah, mental health is, you know, there's such a stigma, but I feel like everybody has something that they're dealing with. And it's just really cool to see, like I mentioned, we have a kid that has Tourette's, and he doesn't stutter or have Tourette's when he's on stage or when he plays. And the same with our kid that has a stutter. Like when they're on stage or super comfortable, that doesn't happen. And it's just really cool to see. Music is so powerful, and we just want to keep spreading that. And just even with adults, because adults obviously are struggling too, and we're a place for them too. So we just want to let everybody know that there are ways to get through those issues for sure.
Yeah, that's very powerful. What kind of venues have you played at? I mean, other than Via, what kind of venues do you have any that you play at consistently, like just a consistent thing worked out with some of these venues, or?
Yeah. So one that we go to pretty often is Our Lady of Perpetual Hops in New Albany. They've been fantastic with us, and they let us come and put on shows a lot. We are actually partnered with Enchanted Forest and Floyd County Brewing Company in New Albany. We partner with them. We help sponsor a lot of their equipment, and so they're great. We actually have a big Encore Fest at the stage outside of Enchanted Forest on July 27th. All the bands are going to be playing, and Top Shelf is going to be headlining. They're one of our friends that Top Shelf actually rehearses here. They're a big cover band in the area. So we're just kind of making friends, and they're shooting us opportunities. But I mean, we've hit, let's see, we were just at Zanzibar. We just hit Bourbon Hall. So with Terry Harper. So yeah, we're just trying to make friends, and people have been so good to us so far. So our kids have gotten some really cool opportunities because of that.
That's awesome.
I thought I saw headliners last year. Did y'all go end up doing headliners?
We did. That was our first like big kind of opening showcase here in our new building. And because we were working in a basement, and so we didn't have a lot of budget. We didn't have much going on, and we're kind of like an underdog story because we were actually at a different music school. And I was running the school and just trying to beef it up, and just the environment wasn't what we wanted. And so we actually, overnight when we decided to open Encore, we had like, I think it was 9 of their bands just walk out and come with us and say, where are you going? We'll follow you, like parents. And so we ended up in a concrete basement, and they all came. And since then, we've just been growing and trying to find new ways to bring people in. And now we're in this fun building, and yeah, we're kind of the underdogs, but we're just trying to do good in the community. And so far, people have been really cool, and that's very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an inspiring story, knowing that you just started in January of last year and within 11 months, 12 months, able to get your own building, having 78 students signed up. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really awesome. Because there's probably some much bigger schools who wish they had that many students and wish
Yeah.
that they were able to make some of the connections with some of these venues and stuff. So,
Yeah, it's all about connections. We're just trying to show, who we are and do right by people because there's so many hateful people, and we're
Yep.
just trying to spread love and just to give people a good outlet. But yeah, community is everything. We're very big about that. We like to provide for, there's a couple of foundations in the area that we like to provide for. We do have a scholarship here. So if a kid is struggling financially, we don't like that to be the end all be all for them because I didn't have a lot of money growing up. So I understand that. But yeah, we just want to give back and just do right by everybody.
That's a very awesome mission to have. More people, more businesses need to embrace that. I think the world would be a much different place if they would embrace that type of mentality more. So how did you end up running the VIA stage, the VIA Calori last year? How did that come about? And what are your thoughts on VIA as a whole?
I love Via Calori. I think that is one of the coolest festivals. I mean, I'm an artsy person, but what was so cool is some of our kids were participants as artists. And so
That's awesome.
That was so cool. Like last year we had a band play and then the girl had to get off the stage and go run and show off her chalk drawing. And so there's so many things to be proud of, but we just connected with Dusty a couple years ago and I was just looking for some opportunities and we just kind of clicked and we came, I think 2 years ago, they gave us a spot for one band and they were happy with it. And they said, this is a great product. And so they invited us back for a whole chunk of a day last year. And, the sound guy is amazing. His name is Tim and he's just super funny and was so good to our kids. And luckily our kids have just been, professional and doing a good job. And we try to set them up to, respect everybody. And yeah, they did a great job and I'm excited to do it again. It's a very, very cool festival. I like it a lot.
Yeah, they did awesome. Like before you see anything, you hear the music. So like, and they sound amazing just hearing some of the music they was doing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're pumped. I think we're getting a little bit more of a time slot this time around. And so I'm bringing more bands and we've got people of all genres this time. So you're going to hear all kinds of different music and all ages too, which I think people forget about the adults in the community, but you're never too old to start and we'll put you in a band. And I think we're going to have 2 adult bands this year. So I'm really excited about that.
What day are you going and like what times? Do you know that yet?
They haven't given me, I think we're going
Okay.
to be on the Sunday,
Okay.
but they haven't given me the exact lineup times yet.
I'm sure more info will come out. I know Dusty is working feverishly to get
Yes.
everything finalized. She's amazing.
Very much so, yes.
Well, cool. Yeah, we can't wait. We'll be there both days again this year.
Yay.
You can only walk past the chalk art so many times as it's still in progress. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there were multiple times that we kind of just walked over to the stage and just kind of sat down whenever my daughter wasn't running through the giant bubbles.
Right. Yeah, those were cool too. They had some good stuff this year. It was fun.
Yeah. It's such a, I guess, like an amalgamation of just everything that you would want out of that type of a festival.
Mm-hmm.
And the space, just, I think it's so. The first thing that I thought is there's so much to do, but it's not like cramped together.
Right.
If you're listening to the music, you can be engaged in the music. If you're looking at the art, you can be engaged in the art. If you're looking at the vendors, like I think they do an awesome job setting it up. And there was obviously a ton of people there, but it's not like you're shoulder to shoulder with anybody. There's breathing room. So
Yes.
for those of us with social anxiety and stuff, that helps a lot. But no, it is awesome. It was honestly really inspiring to see kids up on the stage and just rocking out. I, for one, would be terrified. I mean, for one, I have not a musical bone in my body, but this is about as branched out as I get. I can do this internet stuff, and it's like just having more one-on-one type meetings and stuff. But like trying to get up in front of people, especially a bunch of people you don't know. There's people from blocks around who can probably hear. Like that's all I would be thinking about. So major kudos. We
can work on that with you if you want.
If I ever have time, I would be very interested. And if not me, then my daughter maybe, once she's ready, or if she wants to. She loves the idea of playing music, but she, I guess, doesn't know where to start, because I don't know where to start her.
Okay.
But as she gets older and gets into it more, because she loves singing, she loves all kinds of music, and so yeah.
And you said she's 6?
Yeah, she's 6 right now.
Perfect. We start at age 6. That's when the attention and the focus starts going in. So she's ready.
Pretty soon, yeah.
do you feel like sometimes it's easier to teach younger children versus like young adults, as far as like picking up on some of those kind of things?
It just kind of depends. Every case is kind of different. I know, and our teachers are different too. I know my partner works really, really well with adults and young kids. And for me, I think I personally work best with teenagers. I'm kind of a big kid myself, and for some reason, even though I'm cringy, they think I'm funny or something. But I like working with teenagers, but it just kind of depends. I think adults are definitely more set in their ways and kind of in their heads a little more. So they're definitely, there's just a difference. I like the younger kids, but yeah, it just depends on the attention span, kind of what their focus is. So the first initial meeting, which we offer trial lessons for free. If anyone wants to come in, we do half-an-hour trial lessons to make sure they love it before committing. And that kind of gives us a sense of where they're at, what their goals are, how they learn, because everyone learns differently. And that gives us a huge opportunity to kind of see what works best base by base case.
That makes total sense. Yeah. How many teachers do you have?
Right now we have 5, including myself. So I teach and run the school.
Wow. Busy. And 78 students across 5 people. That sounds like a challenge.
10 bands.
Right. 10 bands.
Yeah, it is. I kind of manage all of it. My partner, he coaches most of the bands. He's very hands-on as far as construction. We're building a theater right now, and he does all of that kind of hard stuff. And I do kind of the admin, accounting stuff. But I couldn't do it without him. He's definitely my other half. And so we're definitely a kind of a duo in this. But yeah, he's amazing. And I think between the two of us and the other teachers, we can offer you whatever you need. There's a lot of diversity between all of us, because all of our skills are different too. So it's really cool. It's a unique thing.
So if somebody had a kid who was showing interest in learning music, but they didn't really settle on any type of instrument or things like that, do you all have instruments that they can use if they did a trial lesson? How does that look? We sure do.
We have a guitar tree out there with acoustic, electrics, bass. And we don't ever expect them, especially if they're a kid starting out, we don't expect them to walk in with this, $100 guitar or whatever. We want to make sure that they like it before we tell them to invest in something like that. But we also let them use the drums here. We have a multitude of pianos and keyboards that they use. And what's something that's really cool that I think sets us apart as well is every single one of our teachers are multi-instrumentalists. So we play more than one thing. So if there's a kid that comes in and they're just not quite sure what they want to do, we'll try it all. Let's find what suits you. And I think that's something that a lot of schools around here don't really offer. So I think that's really cool as well.
Yeah, I know when I was younger and dabbled, it was pretty much like teachers either taught like guitar and sometimes only one type of guitar, or they taught drums, or they taught piano. So that's really interesting, because I was just thinking of my daughter. There's a ukulele in the house that she just likes to pick up and strum on, even though she has no idea how to do chords or anything. She's at least tries to hold a rhythm. She's played around on like keyboards and stuff at her grandparents' house. And then just the other day, I forget why it came up, but I ended up asking her, like, well, if you wanted to play an instrument, what would you pick? And she said drums. Like, okay, something you've never done, and like the loudest thing that could be in my house. So
That's true. Yeah. She could have picked, the flute or something, but it's also the most you have to carry around too when you do gigs. So you're going to be a roadie, it sounds like.
Yeah. Which, I mean, she's 6, so who knows? That could change day to day, hour to hour, but definitely something to kind of just keep talking her through and, figuring out, because I think that's an important thing, especially as parents, when it comes to the money invested. It's not like she can say, oh, well, I don't want to do drums today, I want to do guitar today. It's like, well, you got to kind of stick with one for a little bit and go from there. Is there any like other specific advice you would give parents that are kind of considering or have children interested?
I would just say if they're already starting to get the itch for music, go with that, because like we kind of said already, there's so many other outlets that they could be doing as far as social media and, all of that stuff. But this is something really healthy. And if they're already, especially at a young age, kind of getting the itch for that and curious about it, there's nothing more powerful than them learning music. And so I would encourage them to listen to them, take that for what it is and say, okay, we got to get this kid in here, at least to let them explore whether or not that's their thing. And I know I grew up and my parents wanted me to do sports, and I just was not a sports person. And finally I stepped on a stage and was like, okay, this is it. So just allowing the kids to kind of explore who they are and what they want to do. I think that's the number one thing I could say as far as advice. Just let them figure it out.
Just be supportive of whatever they want to do today. That's amazing. That's definitely the best way. Sometimes it is a challenge as a parent, but it is important. I've noticed that kind of letting Annabelle just choose her own things, it really empowers her to have choices instead of just being told, no, you're doing this, you're doing that, even if things just as simple as like picking what she's eating for lunch one day, like it's very empowering to give her those choices, even though it's pretty much always mac and cheese and chicken nuggets at this age, which don't get me wrong, I love mac and cheese and chicken nuggets too. So, no, that's definitely very important. So you've had what seems to, in my eyes, a pretty explosive first year and a half. And you said you just moved into the building, so maybe there's not really a current answer to this question, but what does the future kind of look like for Encore? Do you have any specific goals that you're kind of reaching for right now, or is it just a general keep growing?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to keep providing the best performance opportunities for the people. That's always going to be a goal for me. And I always kind of want to top myself and do things bigger and better than before. And so that's definitely a goal. I just want to keep doing things that are exciting, but absolutely growing is the number one goal for me. And what's really cool about the space we're in is we're in 1/4 of a building that's mostly vacant. So if we decide to grow and stay here, we can just slowly start taking over more space. So I hope to be here for quite a few years, because I hate moving and I don't want to do it again. But yeah, just growing and just getting our name out there and bringing more students in and just helping people feel better about things. That's my main goal. Is I want to help spread the happiness bug and help people find ways to get through their days. So,
of course. So if people want to learn more I know you're on Facebook. Is there any other socials, or if people wanted to reach out, is Facebook kind of the best way? Or
Facebook, we also have an Instagram. And they're pretty similar. We share similar things on there. But yeah, you can check us out on Facebook or Instagram. If they have any questions or want to sign up for a trial, they can always give me a call. Our contact information is on there. But yeah, we're ready to keep growing, and trials are really cool just because I feel like that's something cool we offer and not many others as well. We just want people to really understand the vision and kind of what we do before, jumping into it financially. But yeah, they can check things out on social media. We're pretty active online as far as we do student highlights. We highlight our teachers. We highlight the bands, and you can see their photo shoots and all the goofy kids there. And sometimes the kids will help with social media too. And a lot of the times the kids are smarter than me. So especially with technology. So they've been very helpful too. But yeah, our social medias are definitely the best way.
yeah, so as part of the band coaching and stuff, I guess that also includes like branding, how to brand yourself as a band and things like that.
It does, yeah. So we try to get them to understand certain things about their band. Like, okay, if you want to be a new metal band, maybe we don't pick Chapel Roan. Maybe we pick things that, work with your vocalist. You have to pick songs based on the tools in your band. We're not going to play this hard, shreddy solo from Guns N' Roses with a new guitar player. Trying to get them to understand the right photos to take and how not to act. That's kind of a big thing too, is we want our kids to be respectful, especially of sound people and venue owners. And so that's one of the biggest things, is teaching them to be professional. How do you work your microphone? What do you do if a string breaks on stage? Just how do you handle these things that are going to happen in the real world, because no show's ever perfect, and just kind of preparing them and giving them tools for success. That's kind of the big thing.
And those are skills that go beyond just playing in a band or playing on stage, being able to brand yourself, or how to present yourself, or, what to do if something happens, like, decision making in the moment and on the fly. Mm-hmm. And those are all very important life skills, not mm-hmm. just music skills, musician skills, performance skills. Those are very important things that they can take on to whatever career they choose, whether in music or not. Mm-hmm. So that's...
there's a lot of team building in it too, because, once you get assigned a song, you got to work on it, or the rest of your band's going to get ticked off at you. And so there's some accountability there.
Probably some conflict resolution. They've
got to do what they got to do. And it's, there's a lot of it. They build, their confidence, their self-esteem, trust. Some of the times we have to say, okay, we're going to give you this job to do, and you got to do it. So, and they're young, so they'll make mistakes, but just, giving them chances and opportunities to really do this in the industry. That's been cool to watch.
Very, very awesome. So how often do you have shows? And I see them posted on Facebook all the time. I know there's one coming up, I think, or I know there's one in July. Mm-hmm. How often do you do shows? And then is social media pretty much just the best way to know? And are the shows always open, open to whoever shows up?
Yeah, they're usually open to the public. A lot of the times they're all ages. And yes, social media is definitely where we post all that. Sometimes if it's a big production, we'll go to the media or, news with that. So the July one, that's a big one that we're having, July 27th, and it's going to be all day. And then Top Shelf's going to be closing that. But I try to have a big, what I call showcase, like once every month and a half. It's kind of that carrot at the end that gives the kids the goal to say, hey, we've got to get ready for this show. That's kind of the end goal, and then they gear up for the next ones. But the cool thing about our program is we have different levels of bands, and we have performance bands, which is kind of like we're ready to gig, make money. And we have about 3 of those teenage bands, and they're already kind of gigging in the community. So they have shows all the time. But yeah, as far as our like big showcases with everybody, we do that maybe every like month and a half or so.
Awesome. That's still quite a lot, though, which
it is. It is.
I think, but that's fantastic because, you know, there has to be some motivation for kids, especially. I mean, even adults. I mean, we have certain things that motivate us to keep doing stuff. And if it's just you're going to a lesson every week or however often it is, and that's all you're doing, there's not really, like you said, there's not the carrot at the end that makes you keep moving forward and want to keep progressing. So, I mean, it sounds like a lot to manage, as everything else you've said does as well, but I think that's a very important aspect of what you're doing as well.
Yeah, and we want to give the private lessons students that opportunity too. And I think that's cool as well. We don't just, you don't have to just be in a band to perform. We're doing, in July, we're doing a cabaret night where we have selected our best jazz and musical theater soloists that take private lessons and let them perform. We're building a theater where we can do recitals monthly. I just want everybody to have the chance to kind of feel successful, invite their parents and their friends, and just kind of show off for a little bit. I want everybody to feel like a rock star, and they work hard. So I think that payoff is really important.
Definitely. I can definitely see even just the 2 recitals that my daughter did for dance. Leading up to those recitals was big for her, and then that reward of being up there, and of course the costumes that she gets to get from it I think those might be her favorite part. She loves dress up, so
for sure.
But that is totally fair. If it keeps her engaged, keeps her active in it, then it's very fine. Every picture she takes now, she's in some kind of dance pose. She just has to. So it's fun, but it is very important when teaching kids, especially, that they have that payoff at the end, and it's not just a monotonous appointment.
Right. It gets stale after a while, especially if you're not working on things that you're interested in. And yeah, it gets stale. You have to gear up for something, and you can tell they get excited, they get nervous. And I think that the opportunities we provide are kind of have make or break, and it's made us. So I don't know a lot of schools that are providing that many opportunities. So I think that's been a really cool thing for us.
Sounds awesome. We'll have to try to make it out to something if we can. And definitely. I mean, if not, we'll definitely see you guys at Via Glory this year. So I don't have anything else. Do you have anything?
No, it was awesome seeing you guys. Can't wait to see you guys again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. And yeah, keep an eye on our shows. We got plenty coming up, and we'd love to have you guys. And yeah, you guys have been great.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much again. We'll put the social media links and stuff in the description so anybody can find you. They can make it easy.
Thank you.
And yeah, we look forward to seeing you when we can. Do you have anything else that you want to bring up that maybe we didn't cover?
I don't think so. Just if you're interested, or if you just need somewhere to feel supported and encouraged, come check us out. We have an arcade here.
Cool.
If you
Nice.
want to come play some games, just sit in there. Kids are playing Jenga in there right now. But yeah, just come out. If you need just good people to just say hi and tell you you're awesome, come check us out.
That's amazing. It's more of a community than a school. And
yes.
But you get to learn. So that's fantastic. We really appreciate your time and everything that you're doing for kids and adults in the community. I think it's awesome. It sounds like a very awesome program. So very, very glad that we got to talk and, break it down a little bit today. So
yeah, thank you so much.
Of course. I guess with that, we'll end it there. Thank you again so much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
They're
off in the Kentucky Derby.
Interest of the greater good for me to smoke a joint and calm down.
I am the greatest. He'll fall an ace to prove that I'm great. And if he keeps talking jive, I'm gonna cut it to 5.